Hello everybody, today we are going to create a program that will add numbers taken from the user. So what we have to do first? Well, we need to take the number from the user. How to do it? In order to do it, we need to use the function which is called input. And let's ask the user, please give me the number, like that. And then we need to change that number into a number, because the truth is that we will get a string from it, right? So we need to use the integer cast, and then we need to save it somewhere. Well, let's save it into the variable that will be called nr. That stands for number. Okay, so we need to now ask for another number, for another number, for another number, but we need to also somehow save the sum. We need to have the sum stored somewhere, right? The result. So I think we could create a variable that we would call result. And let's assign to it at the start 0, because 0 is neutral when you are adding numbers. So we could do something like result plus equal number. And then we could do something like that, and that, and that. So we have just asked for 4 numbers. And as you can see, we have repeated it 4 times, which means this is the time that you need to use loop. Whenever you repeat something, it means it's a good idea to use loop. So how to do it? First, we'll remove the unneeded code and we'll create a loop while. While what? Why something is lower than 4, because we want to repeat the things here 4 times. And we need to create that something here, right? So we need to create a variable, like for example I, and let's assign to it 0 at the start. So while I is lower than 4, we're gonna repeat, and it's very important, we need to use the tab button. We need to add the spaces here, right? So Python knows that this instructions belongs to that while loop. And now when I is lower than 4, these instructions are gonna be executed. But when I run this program, well, the problem is that this is gonna run forever. Why? Because 0 is always lower than 4. So we need to somehow change that I inside our loop. Like for example, we need to add to it 1 each time the loop goes through all these instructions. So now, because of that instruction here, after each repetition, the I will increase by 1. And because of that, the condition will someday finally be false, right? And that loop will just end. So in order to see now the result, we need to print it after the loop. So we need to, click enter and then backspace, and here we can put something on the output, like for example, the result of adding numbers is, and then we can, for example, show that it is result. Do not forget that you need to add the colon here, because, well, that's how the syntax in the Python looks like. And after it, we can just run the module. And as you can see, our program is asking us for the number. Okay, let's put here, for example, 5, then 2, then 10, then, for example, 4. And the result is 21. 5 plus 2 is 7, 7 plus 10 is 17, 17 plus 4 is 21, which is true. Okay, so our program is working fine. But how does it do it? Well, the easiest way to check it is to just analyze your program like if you were the computer. So we have created the variable that is called result, and we have assigned to it 0 because 0 is neutral for the operation of adding numbers. Then we have created the variable I, and we assigned to it 0 because, well, it's gonna be useful for us when it's 0 and we want to run, for example, this instruction inside the loop 4 times, because 0 is lower than 4. So the program is just checking at the start of the loop if the condition is true. Is 0 lower than 4? Yes, it's true. So how? Okay, we need to execute all the instructions that are inside the loop. The first instruction is asking for the number. When we put the number here, right, this thing is gonna be changed into 5. Well, the truth is to 5 like that. And then this thing is gonna change that 5 into true 5, into the 5 that is integer. And we have assigned 5 to number. That's how it works, right? Okay, let's come back to the original code. And then when you have 5 here, we want to add that 5 into the result. And we are adding it. So the result is equal to 5. It's a good idea to comment like that your code when you're analyzing it. It's gonna help you a lot. And then, well, you need to increase the I. At the start, I was equal to 0, and now it's equal to 1 because of that operation here. And then we check again the condition. Is 1 lower than 4? Yes, it's true, so we need to ask again for the number. And, well, we put here 2, so 2 was changed into the true 2, so into the integer. And again, 5 plus 2 is 7. Then we increase the I by 1 because I was equal to 1. Now it's equal to 2. And we check again the condition. Is 2 lower than 4? Yes, it's true. So we again ask for the number. So we put there 10. So 10 plus 7 is 17. We increase I by 1. So it's 3. We again check, is 3 lower than 4? It's true. So we again ask for the number. And we put the 4 as the number. And, well, 4 plus 17 is 21. And I is equal to 4 now. And we check. Is 4 lower than 4? No, it's not true because 4 is equal to 4. So the loop is gonna stop executing the instructions inside its body, right? So the body of the loop is indicated by these spaces here, right? And, well, after it, we just print the result like that. The result of adding numbers is, and we just use the variable that we created here. And everything works fine. And the cool thing is that we can now easily change, you know, here that condition from 4 to, for example, 200. And it will work for 200 times, right? That's very cool because you do not need to repeat your code. Of course, this is one of the easiest example of how to use loop. There are lots of more other examples that will be more useful, but we'll talk about it later. Do not worry. I know that this doesn't seem like, you know, super useful because it's just asking for numbers, but believe me, loops is the most precious thing that the programmer can have while he is programming. Okay, that's only the lesson. Thank you very much.